Luke didn't just fall in love, he ascended into it. After years of messy breakups, long-distance tears, and dramatic tell-alls under the blinding studio lights of 90 Day Fiancé, Luke was ready for something different. The world had watched him stumble through cultural misunderstandings and explosive arguments. They had seen him sweat at airport terminals and fumble through proposals that felt more like negotiations than declarations. But this time was different. This time, he had a helicopter. It started as a joke. "You're always saying you'd sweep someone off their feet," his friend Marco teased one night over drinks in Miami. "Why not actually do it?" Luke laughed it off at first, but the idea lingered, buzzing in his mind like the distant whir of rotor blades. He had met Alina 3 months earlier at a charity art gala in Los Angeles. She wasn't impressed by his TV fame. In fact, she hadn't even watched his season. "I don't really do reality TV," she'd said with a playful shrug when he mentioned it. He was stunned. For once, he wasn't Luke from 90 Day Fiancé, before the 90 days. He was just Luke, the guy who liked old vinyl records, Cuban coffee, and terrible dad jokes. Alina was an aerospace engineer. She spoke about propulsion systems the way poets speak about love. She loved the sky, not in a dreamy, metaphorical way, but in a precise, mathematical, awestruck way. She understood lift coefficients and thrust ratios. She could calculate wind resistance faster than he could pick a restaurant. So the helicopter idea stopped being a joke. It became a plan. Luke had always been a go big or go home kind of guy. His romantic history proved that, but he'd learned from his past. Grand gestures meant nothing without sincerity. So this wasn't about flashy Instagram moments or tabloid headlines. It was about merging his world with hers. He didn't just rent any helicopter. He found a sleek, midnight black Bell 429, a twin-engine beauty with a panoramic cockpit. It gleamed under the Florida sun like something out of a spy movie. The leather seats were cream-colored, stitched to perfection. The cabin smelled faintly of aviation fuel and possibility. When he told Alina he had a surprise, she narrowed her eyes. "Is this another reality TV thing?" she asked. "No cameras," he promised. "Just us." That was the first rule. No production crew, no boom mics, no staged reactions. For once, Luke wanted a moment that wasn't edited for dramatic pauses. They met at a private airfield just outside Miami. The wind tugged at Alina's hair as the helicopter idled, its blades slowly slicing the air. Her eyes widened, not with the giddy thrill of a tourist, but with genuine admiration. "You got a 429? She breathed. "Do you know the cruise speed on this thing?" Luke grinned. "Fast enough to impress an aerospace engineer?" She laughed, a full, unfiltered sound that made his chest tighten. As they lifted off, the city shrank beneath them. Skyscrapers turned into toy blocks. The ocean stretched endlessly, glittering like scattered diamonds. Luke watched her more than the view. The way her fingers hovered near the controls, not touching, just appreciating. The way she pointed out wind patterns over the water. "You can actually feel the crosswind from here," she said, leaning closer to the window. Luke had expected gasps and squeals. Instead, he got technical analysis, and he loved it. Halfway over the coastline, he handed her a small velvet box. Her eyebrows shot up. "Luke, it's not what you think," he said quickly. "Open it." Inside was not a ring, but a tiny silver propeller pendant. "I know you don't need saving," he said softly over the hum of the engine. "And I know you're not impressed by big TV moments, but I wanted to give you something that feels like you. You're always reaching higher. You make me want to do the same." For a man who once struggled to express feelings without sounding rehearsed, the words came easily. Alina stared at the necklace, then at him. "You rented a helicopter for a necklace?" He swallowed. "For you." She clipped the pendant around her neck, her fingers steady despite the vibration of the aircraft. "This," she said, touching it, "is the most thoughtful thing anyone's ever done for me." Luke exhaled a breath he didn't know he was holding. They flew out over open water, the horizon melting into gold as the sun began to set. The sky turned shades of coral and lavender, painting the cockpit in soft light. For a brief moment, there was no past, no TV contracts, no social media speculation, just two people suspended between sea and sky. Of course, news travels fast when you've been on a franchise like 90 Day Fiancé. A blurry photo surfaced online 2 days later. A fan had recognized Luke at the airfield. The headline read, 90 Day star Luke's high-flying romance. Speculation exploded. Was he engaged? Was this for a new spin-off? Was Alina his next international fiancé? Luke surprised everyone by responding directly. He posted a simple photo of the sunset from the helicopter cockpit. No filters, no dramatic captions. Sometimes love doesn't need a visa, just altitude. The comments section went wild. Former castmates chimed in, fans debated, memes were made, but Luke stayed quiet about the details. For the first time, he wasn't feeding the machine. Alina, for her part, handled the sudden attention with calm precision. "I design aircraft systems," she said during a podcast appearance weeks later. "I'm not intimidated by turbulence." Their relationship evolved the way flight does: steady climb, minor adjustments, moments of unexpected turbulence. Luke learned about her late-night lab work and her obsession with Mars rover prototypes. She learned about the emotional toll of public scrutiny and how editing can twist intentions. One night, months after their first flight, Alina surprised him. She took him back to the same airfield. Except this time, the helicopter wasn't rented. It was co-owned. She had invested in a fractional ownership program, something she'd been researching for years. Luke stared at the paperwork in disbelief. "You're serious?" "Very," she said. "You gave me the sky for a day. I figured we could keep it." They took off together, this time with her in the co-pilot seat, literally and figuratively. Up in the air, Luke realized something profound. The helicopter wasn't the grand gesture anymore. It wasn't about proving anything to fans or outdoing past romances. It had become symbolic of balance, of shared control, of trust. At 2,000 feet, he reached for her hand. "You know," he said, "my first season on 90 Day Fiancé, before the 90 days was all about chasing someone across the world." She squeezed his fingers. "And now I feel like I'm flying with someone." The difference mattered. They began taking weekend flights, short coastal trips, island lunches, quiet sunrise rides. Sometimes they didn't speak much at all. The hum of the engine became its own language. Fans still speculated. Producers called. There were offers: another season, a couple's special, even a limited series centered around love in the sky. Luke turned them down. Not because he was done with television, but because some heights are meant to be experienced, not broadcast. 1 year after that first helicopter date, he took Alina up again at sunset. The same coastline, the same golden light, but this time, when he handed her a small velvet box, it did contain a ring. No cameras, no headlines, just sky. Could